Hello, it's Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario on October 24th, Friday night. Hope everybody's having a nice night. So, what's the big daily news today is Doug Ford. Doug Ford's making headlines all over the world. And we talked about this on Tuesday of the big commercial he did, $75 million. dollars. Now, he didn't spend $75 million dollars on the commercial, but probably like the ad buy is total is 75 million dollars with the production of the commercial and the cost of to air them, plus the markup for the ad agency. And yeah, I said it was a waste of money because it's not going to convince people in the States about anything against Trump. Like you put a commercial from a president from 50 years ago saying some speech, like Americans, their eyes are just going to glaze over. And all it did was piss off Trump because, Ford's been trash talking Trump for months. And I've been criticizing it because it doesn't really accomplish anything, doesn't help the situation. I'm not saying if he was all nice to Trump that we would have had a trade deal by now. No. But insulting, like he's trying to taking personal shots at Trump is not going to help Ontario workers. But he's been doing it for months, and then he does this dumb commercial, and then Trump puts out a big thing last night saying the negotiations between Canada and the U.S. are over on trade, and he cited the commercial. So then Ford was acting all tough again today, saying, "Oh, Trump's on my commercial," and acting all tough, like a tough guy. I'm like, man, you're the premier of Ontario. You destroyed Ontario because you're a traitor, and you're gonna trash talk and act like a smartass to the most powerful guy in the world who has a pretty thin skin. Like he doesn't like people like you talking smack about him. Like he doesn't let that shit go. And also, really, he's been disrespected, whether you like him or whether he deserves it or not. He's been disrespected by the Canadian government since 2016, since he ran for president. And then when he lost in 2020, all the Canadian officials and Trudeau's government thought he's done, he's finished, and he's going to go to jail. So they trash talked him even more. And unfortunately for them, he came back and he won. And I'm sure he remembers all that trash talk. And then to listen to fat Doug Ford trash talk him for 6 months, it's just going to make him want to shut our auto sector even more. I mean, he might have already wanted to do it, but maybe not. I don't know. We don't know a lot behind closed doors, but Ford's put people and workers here in danger. He runs his fat mouth off, and then he goes to the cottage to chill out, drink his beers, and he should resign after this. Like he shouldn't be involved, and it's a federal negotiation between the federal government and the U.S. I don't know why he's spending $75 million, probably contracts out to his friends, and why is he getting involved and making things worse? He's already destroyed Ontario. Like, regardless of the Trump issue, he's already destroyed Ontario for his helping to take in all these immigrants. Just everything in Ontario is falling apart. And he keeps running his big mouth, and people think it's cool. Like, a lot of people in Ontario think, oh, he's being tough. Good for Doug. Go, Doug. And it was like, those people are part of the problem too, I guess. So we'll see what happens. But I think Doug Ford's persona non grata with the Trump administration. I think he's taken up Trudeau levels of disdain at the White House. I don't like him either. So it's just, I don't know why he's there, because he keeps winning as premier because he's probably blackmailed and compromised so that he does whatever he's told. And I guess destroying Ontario is part of the orders. So today's like a Doug Ford day. Let's look at Doug Ford. The Doug Ford day. So this is that started it all last night. Is Trump put this tweet out. Ronald Reagan Foundation has just it's all kind of crap, but Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement which is fake, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. The ad was for 75,000. He meant 75 million. They only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs are very important to national security, the economy of the USA, based on their egregious behavior. All the trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Thank you for attention to this matter. So yeah, the commercial triggered him because it's kind of like a lot of Americans can see it as a foreign government airing commercials, trying to influence U.S. policy, but also he knows Doug Ford's been trashing him, or maybe he didn't, and somebody finally told him. So that's what started it. So he's basically saying no more negotiations, and he's probably saying get rid of Doug Ford, shut him up. I don't want to listen to him. I'm like, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I said this before during the election. I said he's going to screw everything up with Trump, and I was right. All right. Here's Mark Carney praises Doug Ford, saying he deeply values his leadership and the relationship they've been building over the last 6 months. I don't know who the bigger POS is, Doug Ford or Mark Carney. So this is Doug. They were Doug Ford yesterday or the other day with Carney at some some Ontario announcement for some modular nuclear reactors. I don't think it's a new announcement. I'm like pretty sure they planned on doing this already. It was just a photo op. Let's see what he says here. What the hell? You know what? I don't care what he says. So yeah, this is the day before Trump cut off negotiations. So this is the dynamic duo, Carney and Doug Ford. Before it was Doug Ford and Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland. So you see how we're being played here. The Uniparty of Canada. I want to see if this is working. Why isn't it working?
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership over these years. And let me just say a personal note. I deeply value the partnership that we have forged over the last 6 months in the interests of Ontarians and in the interests of Canadians. We are both focused on building a strong economy. We are laser focused on getting big projects, such as the one we're discussing today, we're launching today, getting those big projects built faster. And together delivering for the people of Ontario.
So these are the guys running Ontario and Canada, these two clowns. So, we'll see. We'll see how these guys, but the budget's coming out, the federal budget's coming out in November, a couple weeks. So we'll see how screwed we are. Oh, it's not looking good. These guys are going to screw us over. And I think you got Trump. He sees this country the way it's being run by these people, and he knows how weak and what position we're in. And it didn't have to be this way. If we didn't have leaders like Doug Ford or Justin Trudeau, and we had like I'm not even talking about Stephen Harper. I'm talking like competent leaders who don't destroy the country. We might have a leg to stand on here, but now Trump's got us. He's turning the screws because he knows how bad these guys, Doug Ford and Justin Trudeau and all the other premiers, are all dummies too. So he knows how bad the Canadian leadership has been, and he knows, he can do whatever he wants to us, basically. Unfortunately. I say shut the fuck up, Doug. He should have shut up like 6 months ago. I knew he was going to do this. He's going to talk all like, because his campaign theme was Protect Ontario. Protect Ontario. So he's basically saying Trump's the enemy and whatever, and this and that. Whatever. Doesn't help. You could say whatever. Even if it's true, it doesn't help to get into to fight with a much more powerful adversary. It doesn't make sense. But Doug Ford will be in his cottage eating hamburgers and drinking beers while everybody else is unemployed from his shenanigans. Okay. So, yeah, there's Doug. Next. Popeyes. I saw this article. I don't know, like, I haven't eaten fast food in like 4 years, maybe more, 5 years maybe. And because the last time I had it was in it was the highway stop in Woodstock, and I was getting a burger from Wendy's, and I went to take a bite, and there was a big hair in it, so I didn't take a bite, thankfully. And that's the last time I had fast food. But I just keep seeing horror stories between Tim Hortons and Popeyes, and KFC's all halal now, and I just like, and they'll put anybody in there. Like, it's all basically Indian dudes cooking your food. So yeah, if you want to trust all that, go for it. Plus the prices have gone high, so it's like, and then you see stories like this where I heard about this rotten chicken situation at Popeyes, because he owns a bunch of Popeyes. It's like, basically, if you're eating fast food now in Canada, you're crazy. You're taking your life in your hands. I just cook my own food now. Or don't go to a fast food place. Go to an independent restaurant. So what's this? Franchise owner of 14 Popeyes in Toronto had his restaurants placed in receivership after employees allege unpaid and $10.8 million in debt. On May 7th, his locations were among 27 in Ontario sued for selling rotten chicken stored in residential garages. Yes. Not a good look for Popeyes.
Number one job is make sure we protect the.
So, when's this? All right. This is a good example of Ford. Just his style since the Trump tariff thing started. And so it wasn't just the commercial. The commercial was kind of just the final thing that got Trump's attention. Fat turd Doug Ford has been taking personal shots at Trump for months. So yeah, like, it's one thing you can criticize his policy, his trade, but he's gone a step further, and he's saying stuff like, you'll hear it now, but just kind of childish stuff. And Trump's already, he's got a thin skin and a lot of power. So it's like, maybe you should lay it off, because you're not going to suffer, Doug. You're not going to suffer if the factory closes. You're going to go on your snowmobile trails this winter and chill out. I hate people like this. So he will sit at his cottage while Ontario workers and their families suffer from his incompetence. Let's listen to him.
The communities against that.
He's just getting embarrassing.
Make sure we protect the people of Ontario. I need to protect the communities against that tyrant south of the border, which drives me absolutely nuts. And we'll always be there to protect the families and businesses who call our province home.
Yeah, I don't want Doug Ford to protect me. I don't want this fat pig's protection. He can't even protect his belt. And then he uses the word tyrant there. I'm like, you really think that's helping Ontario? It's not. And nobody's saying anything to him. Like his advisors, Prime Minister. He's just damaging our country. I think he should resign. And I'm not just saying that because I don't like him. I think he's a liability to Ontario. I mean, he is. He destroyed Ontario already prior to this, but now for sure he's a liability because every time he opens his fat mouth. So he calls Trump a tyrant. Okay. Okay. This is a good one. Retard alert. I said Rob Ford, the former mayor of Toronto, on a kilo of crack would do a better job as Ontario premier than his idiot brother. 100%. He would probably be a great premier on crack. Retard alert. Doug Ford. Let's see what. Doug Ford. There you go. Have you seen this retard? And he really is. Like, he dumps the bottle of Crown Royal. He's threatening the CEOs of, like, Stoukas, GM, Stellantis, whatever. Like, definitely you should be, be on top of things and try to convince him to stay in Ontario. But when you don't give him when you destroy Ontario and you have a bad business environment, companies aren't going to be begging or knocking the door down to stay unless you give them billions of dollars for battery plants that maybe nobody will buy. That's his big gamble in Ontario. Battery plants. Maybe in the end he'll be right. I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. Randy Hillier. As an MPP under Ford, he has some little insight here. I like this. The blue buffoon in Toronto, Ford Nation, just elbowed the red clown in Ottawa, Mark Carney, and Canada's trade with America gets a multi-game misconduct. Thank God it's only our industrial blue-collar workers who will be unemployed as a result, not our politicians or temporary foreign workers. That's what I was saying. Ford's running his mouth off, but he's not going to suffer. He'll probably go down to, even if he loses his job, he'll go down to Florida at his condo. He'll still be fine. He's a fat traitor. Okay. This is funny here. Dominion Society got a little press fine. Hopefully first of many. So this guy, Jamal Giovanni, did like a Charlie Kirk style university tour of Canadian universities. He's a conservative MP. He's actually friends with J.D. Vance. They went to school together. And at one of Giovanni's things, several audience members identified themselves as being part of the Dominion Society, a Canadian anti-immigration group that seeks to deport between 4 and 8 million people living in Canada through what it calls remigration. So, and then you got all these, this is from the CBC. Yes, Dominion made CBC. So all the pearl clutchers from the government and the media are like, oh, the Dominion Society. And shocking how, we're pushing for remigration. Well, they better get used to it. And to Giovanni's credit, he said there should be a moratorium or something like that, which is pretty good for a uniparty guy to say. So, yeah. Starting to get noticed, Dominion Society. Okay. I like what Mark Emery said. He says, I'm a proud member of the Dominion Society, and you, Mark Miller, have knowingly undermined the integrity and character of this once great nation. You will face the music one day for your perfidy facilitating millions of migrants flotsam and jetsam of the third world to flood Canada. So yeah, Mark Miller's upset that the Dominion societies. Mark Miller, former immigration minister, is upset that Dominion society is looking for remigration of immigrants. A lot of other pearl clutchers, Andrew Coyne, whoever, Rachel Gilmore, but we're not going to stop. Okay. This is a Toronto poll today. Toronto's garbage. It's third world country anyway in Toronto. So this isn't very surprising. It says Prime Minister Mark Carney is his choice over Pierre Poilievre for who best addresses the needs of Toronto and the GTA, according to a poll. Yeah, I mean, you didn't need a commission a poll for that. Like, the Liberals own Toronto. It's like, it's all foreigners, so of course they all vote Liberal. Toronto's like a lost cause right now. GTA, Toronto. But yeah, Pierre, we'll see how he does. He's going to have some knives out for him, I think, in the next little bit. Okay, here's another story about Ontario farmers. So yeah, people in Canada, it's common for people to go to the farms and pick your produce, whether it's apples or string beans, whatever. But lately, this summer, there's been a lot of theft at these things. So people coming in, and it's like the honor system. You go and you pick it, and you come up and you say, this is what I got. But they're just going straight to their car and leaving. And this is another dude who's getting pissed off with it. And they don't say it on the videos, but they're talking about probably Indians, because it's kind of something they would do. But they're not going to say it on the video. Let's listen to this.
24 Ford F-250.
Like, who steals apples?
What would you do if you caught someone stealing from you? For those who don't know me, my name's Paul, and I run in the agritourism space in Ontario. Never in my life have I seen so much theft go down in a single season.
I wonder why.
Recently, this holiday Monday, when we were providing a safe, family-friendly environment for people to enjoy on their Thanksgiving, I saw multiple occurrences of theft. And at what point did I draw the line and say, enough is enough? I'll tell you that point. It's 82 pounds of apples.
What the hell are they going to do with 82 pounds of apples?
2024 Ford F-250 Super Duty.
Seriously.
And it was plain as day theft. Little backstory. A family came in. 5 cars. The cheapest valued car I can see in this enclave was a 2025 Honda Civic Type R. This group picked, played, enjoyed our amenities and all that we offer a la carte. But nothing is unseen by the farmer. I walk around in plain clothing. I see everything. I managed to stop one of the vehicles in this enclave. And I said, "Sir, you have to pay for your apples."
Pay.
Although the conversation may have been a little bit drawn out, eventually, after pulling all of the apples out of the bed of that truck, I was met with, "I'm not paying for those apples. I had no intention of leaving with those apples. It was a story as old as time." What it was theft.
Okay, we get the picture.
Now, for those who know...
So basically, this has been happening in a lot of farms, so. Another piece of Canadian culture going down the tubes. Okay, this is Doug Ford today. So yeah, basically, he says here he's gonna run this. He's gonna keep running the ads, but then not long after, he sent out a press release saying that after this weekend the ads will be paused. So he got a call from. He talked to Carney. We'll read that letter too. So he looks like a dummy. This whole ad thing. Ad scam. Let's see what he says here. Let's see what... Doug Ford says his $75 million ad campaign using Ronald Reagan's voice will not stop because it's one of the best ads he's ever seen. Either these people... It's not one of the best ads. Either these people have no clue how to negotiate a deal or they're sabotaging it on purpose. Nobody can be this retarded, can they? And look at this video, too. He's trying to act like Trump here. And it's like, Trump's Trump. You act like Trump, you're going to look like a dummy. So let's look.
I heard that the president heard our ad. I'm sure he wasn't too happy, but it's real because it was coming from the best president the country's ever seen, Ronald Reagan. So it is. It's very effective. It's probably one of the best ads I've ever seen, and it's coming from Ronald Reagan's voice. And it's going to be focused on right across the country, but also in Republican-held areas, because what I feel, the Reagan Republicans are
So
gonna be
basically he's
fighting
saying he's targeting Republican ridings in order to influence the government. I mean, Americans don't like that. Whether they deserve it or not, they don't like that shit. He's a dummy anyway. He's a fat dummy. Look at this dummy behind him. Look at him. Oh my God.
group. And let's hope Reagan Republican.
Hold on, what's he saying here?
I heard held areas, because what I feel, the Reagan Republicans are going to be fighting with the MAGA group. And let's hope Reagan Republican.
Oh God, this guy's such a dummy, man. He just needs to shut the fuck up. Okay. Breaking, and then not too long after he said that, he said, "Oh no, this is what he said." So Doug Ford doubles down on his anti-tariff television ads after Trump declared them to be the reason he's ending trade negotiations. And then he says, "I'll be running the ad tonight for the World Series." So right up until this afternoon, he's still acting like a dummy. And then and then we got the dummy Wob Canoe from Manitoba, the premier, chiming in. And I was like, is like every premier in Canada retard? A retard? Listen to this.
And
This is a premier of Manitoba.
fellow Manitobans, Ontario's TV ads present Ronald Reagan's views on tariffs accurately and powerfully. President Trump's damaging tariffs go completely against Mr. Reagan's legacy. And it's clear that these ads are working. If you throw a rock at a lake and you don't hear a splash, you've probably missed. So to my good friend Doug Ford, keep the ads on TV. They're effective, and this country is behind you.
Yeah. This guy's a disaster in Manitoba. Manitoba, I mean, it's 2 million, it's 1 million people. What are you going to do? So, we're not a serious country, yes. So he's telling Ford, keep it up, keep poking that bear. Okay. Oh, this is me and Sarnia today. I took a nice little picture of the clouds today, so it's not all bad news. That's the storm clouds coming in from the USA. Kind of ironic. It didn't storm today, so that's good. All right. Now, after all this big acting like a cool guy, saying he's going to run the ads, it's the best ad he's ever seen, and he's going to run it during the World Series, and how it's pissed off Trump, then not like an hour later, he puts out this. So our intention was always to initiate a conversation about the kind of economy that Americans want to build and the impact of tariffs on workers and businesses. We've achieved our goal, having reached U.S. audiences at the highest levels. I've directed my team to keep putting our message in front of Americans over the weekend so that we can air our commercial during the first 2 World Series games. In speaking with Prime Minister Carney, Ontario will pause its U.S. advertising campaign effective Monday so that trade talks can resume. We'll see if they resume. That's a good question if they'll resume right away. People elected our government to protect Ontario. Yeah, I didn't. Our workers, businesses, families, and communities. Yeah, you're not protecting Ontario. You're destroying it. Destroying Ontario. That's exactly what I'm doing. Like I said earlier today, Canada and the U.S. are neighbors, friends, and allies. We're so much stronger when we work together. Anyway, whatever. I'm more annoyed how he destroyed Ontario. Even before Trump, Ontario was shithole before 8 years of Ford. We'll do that. Okay. Here's this. From October 15th. Someone should have told Doug Ford that this was a terrible idea. Why didn't the federal government reach out and say, don't do this? As we are negotiating still. It's time for Doug Ford to keep his mouth shut for a bit. All right, let's see what he's saying here.
No, it's actually CNN, to be honest with you. They're a little nervous, but Fox and so
he's trying to act like the tough guy and the protector of Ontario, and some people in Ontario actually falling for this crap.
I'm a big Ronald Reagan fan. So, I'm going through all Ronald Reagan and the great Prime Minister Mulroney at the time, and I approached my deputy chief, Travis, which is brilliant as far as I'm concerned, and many others will say the same thing. I call him Travie. I said, Travie, let's take Ronald Reagan's words and let's blast it to the American people. And our first launch is going to be on every major network.
This is before.
Maybe one may not get it, and we'll talk about that at a later date. No, it's actually CNN, to be honest with you. They're a little nervous, but Fox and other people, but we're going to launch a $75 million ad, and we're going to repeat that message to every Republican district there is, right across the entire country. And we're just gonna speak the truth. But that ad, it's not a nasty ad. It's actually just very factual, and coming from a person like Ronald Reagan, every Republican is going to identify that voice. Maybe the younger Republicans can't remember, but he was just the best president the country's ever seen, in my opinion.
God. First, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about anyway. But this is before he did before Trump blew up on him yesterday. This is a couple days ago. So he thought he was so smart doing this ad. We'll see. He just needs to shut up. All right. But he needs to resign. He needed to resign before. I mean, they all need to resign. They've all destroyed Canada. Okay. What are your thoughts on Doug Ford? Big dummy Doug Ford needs to resign immediately. Yes. This is Carney after Trump said the negotiations were off. Let's see what he says here. He's going to Asia, Carney. He's running away.
Side of that? No? Backed up? All right, good morning. Look, for months we have stressed the importance of distinguishing things we can control and things we can't control. We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that that policy has fundamentally changed from the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And it's a situation where the United States has tariffs against every one of their trading partners for different reasons. And it's in that context that our officials, my colleagues, have been working with their American colleagues on detailed, constructive negotiations, discussions on specific transactions, specific sectors, steel, aluminum, and energy. A lot of progress has been made. And we stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions, because it will be for the benefit of workers in the United States, workers in Canada, and families in both of our countries. Now, what we can control, absolutely, is how we build here at home. And that's the focus of Budget 2025, Generation.
He's good at boring you to death, this guy. That's his superpower, Mark Carney. So basically, he didn't say anything. He said the same stuff he's been saying for the last few months. I wonder what he said on the phone to Ford about that stupid commercial. Okay. Next. This guy. I saw this. I'm Canadian, a white guy with Scottish heritage. Whenever my family and I visit Vancouver, BC, it's as if we're literally visiting New Delhi or in Hong Kong simultaneously. 98% of the people there have brown skin, but ours is white. Why is that? Yes. Basically, if you go into like Toronto, that's the same thing. It's horrible what they're doing with this mass immigration policy of theirs. And we don't have to worry, blame Trump. These guys destroy Canada on the just fine on their own. Okay, and now look at this guy. This is a joke. Hardeep Grewal. They're going to clean it. He's the parliamentary assistant, Ontario parliamentary assistant to the parliamentary assistant to the Ontario transportation minister. Let's see what he says.
In some cases, fraudulent documents have
So basically, he's talking about all these crappy drivers in Ontario, and maybe they're not qualified to drive. I wonder, him and the other guy are in charge of the truck drivers. No wonder they're crashing everywhere.
We're cracking down on fraud and closing loopholes. Our government, under the leadership of Premier Ford and Minister Sarkaria, introduced the Fighting Delays, Building Faster Act. For too long, individuals from countries without reciprocal licensing agreements were able to use unverifiable foreign experience to skip Ontario's rigorous testing process. In some cases, fraudulent documents have let unqualified drivers bypass the very standards designed to keep everyone on the road safe. That ends now.
Yeah.
Under our proposed changes, every driver from a non-reciprocal jurisdiction will be required to pass the both G2 and G road tests before earning a full Ontario license. And for those seeking a commercial driver's license, we're introducing a mandatory 1-year waiting period after obtaining a G license before taking the Class A test. We're strengthening residency verification, ensuring legal status in Canada, and proof they are residents of Ontario with a verified local address. And for individuals with work
Why
permits,
weren't they doing this
licenses
before?
will only be issued for the duration of the work permit and not the standard 5-year term. Visitors will no longer be able to obtain Ontario commercial's driver's licenses. We want people to succeed in this sector, but we have to do it the right way. These are common sense reforms that protect families, support honest workers, and ensure Ontario remains a national leader in road safety and responsible licensing.
Yeah. I don't know why all this stuff wasn't done before. It's maybe because they see all the carnage on the streets now, and there's like, oh, we better do something, I guess. They're not going to do anything. Okay. Not wanting your home overrun by immigration doesn't mean you hate anyone. True. But that's what they call you. Haters. Racists. They can call you whatever they want. I don't care. Okay. There's Dominion Society. We're here to say the quiet part out loud. We're not going to let fear of being called names shut down important political discussions. The only solution to mass immigration is mass remigration. Yes. Yes, it is. All right. Speaking of remigration, this will be the last of the day, last post of the day on this young scholar. Man wanted in the death of woman found with traumatic injuries at Lincoln, Ontario Park may have fled country. Police. These Indian dudes, this is this happens a lot where they flee the country. They commit a serious crime and they flee the country. I was like, how the hell did they get out of the country? Do they use their? They probably have a cousin that has the same name as them, so they use their passport or something like that. Let's read this. Yeah, we should be deporting these guys. Man wanted. What's his name? Manpreet Singh. He's wanted for second-degree murder. Brampton man. Wanted in connection with the death of a Toronto woman whose body was found at a park in Lincoln, Ontario early this week. Police say he may have fled the country. Okay. So he's alleged to have killed 27-year-old Manpreet Singh of North York. Her body was found with traumatic injuries. It's believed to have been a targeted attack with no ongoing threat to public safety. So, who knows what it is? It could be a dowry thing. Who knows with this? It's India, right? That's what they do to women in India. It happens a lot in India, this kind of stuff. Horrible. Okay. So, yeah, let's import more of these guys. No. We're going to send them. Send them home. All right. That's it for tonight. Talking too much about Doug Ford. So, yeah. We'll see what happens with the trade negotiations, if they ever resume, or if Trump's just going to wait for us to go bankrupt, take all our plants, and who knows. But with our leadership, it's not looking that good right now. We need some new blood in there. Get rid of all these uniparty shills and make Canada a country again. Not like what it is now. I don't know what it is. A commie shithole. All right. So, we'll be back tomorrow, October 25th. I'm sure we'll have something to talk about. Until then, have a nice night.